You know, maybe I would have been better off not watching Season 3 and just leaving it to my imagination. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we're back with the final season of Magia Record. A couple of things come to mind here. One, how sad it is that we're finishing up. I was just thinking before I was starting to record how much I've really enjoyed all of these characters, and the element is there's only 4 episodes in this season, so for Magia Record, this is gonna be it. I don't imagine that these characters are gonna show up in the movies, right? Because the movies are compilation. The first 2 are compilation for Madoka Magica. And then Rebellion, I have to assume, is just more Madoka Magica, which not a horrible thing. I really did like Madoka Magica, right? It's not a complaint there. It's just this has so many more characters, and we explore a number of them in depth, in the same depth that we did with Madoka Magica. And the element therein being that this is a single timeline, and we all know what happens here, or not what happened. We don't know what happens here, but I mean, we know what happens when Akemi rewinds, right? So that this no longer is going to matter. This is the untold epic is what I'm trying to bring up here. For me, the untold epic is like the height of tragedy. And I feel like that's what Aroa and gang, all of them, all of these characters that exist within the world of Madoka Magica that aren't the main crew, are that worst tragedy of all, being unknown. I guess technically Akemi knows, but she doesn't. I guess technically that's something Rebellion could take care of, or walpurgisnacht Rising, which, by the way, as of the recording of this, I didn't even know wasn't even out yet. I just saw that earlier. That comes out in February 2026, I believe. For some reason, I thought it was out. I thought that was the thing, and I guess Rebellion is the thing I was actually thinking about. Yeah, and before we get started, another thing. I guess viewer opinion, tell me. As per my previous question of do I watch the movies, I saw that there was an 11 episode recap thing with all bonus material and whatnot for the lead up of Walpurgisnacht Rising, I believe. It's either that or Rebellion. Should I watch that instead of the movies? Should I watch the movies and that? Like, what is the play here? Let me know. Let me know if you have an opinion and you actually listen to these sections, because I know a lot of you just skip over to get to the reaction. Anyway, we come back as we normally do, notes and a board. So let's go ahead and pop over to the board real quick. And I'll admit there's nothing here. All I did was I removed the red lines from Mammy because, she returned to who she was. Other than that, just another opportunity to take a look at the board again because, it's not, again, I don't think I emphasize this enough. I really do get sad at the thought of not seeing these characters again in shows like this. I guess the best example for me would be Witch from Mercury. I cried for a week after Witch from Mercury was done because I just, it's like going on an adventure with friends and then goes away. As per why I hated the ending of Magic Knight Rayearth so much. Season 2 Magic Knight Rayearth. Obviously, Season 1 ending of Magic Knight Rayearth was just the fucking best. Or, I got emotional at the end of Visions of Escaflowne for exactly the same reason. So I feel that, we're on the verge of that here. Granted, I don't know what the next 4 episodes could bring. They could taint the feel I have for these characters completely. They could make it worse. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out. Now then, as for the notes, my first note here, I actually wrote a couple of days ago. Essentially, right after I had got done watching the episode, I had a thought. I didn't want to lose it. I don't particularly remember what I wrote out here, but I remember it was a very important theory. So, going to continue with it. So, about Nemu. Clearly, she was deceiving Toka this whole time, which doesn't seem totally against her character given their interactions from the flashbacks. Likely, I imagine, due to Toka's skill set of people-related things that Nemu herself lacks. Plus, I don't think their closeness was disingenuous, so the friendship aspect is still likely real. As for what she really is up to, I think Nemu really is meant to be depicted as a super genius. So I think when confronted with the concept of magical girls and witches and that entire world, she was able to intuit the problems and solutions therein. I think she really is still human, and what she's done is created the basis from which Madoka would eventually become, or achieve rather, godhood. Just before her, and in a failed timeline, no less. Gathering all of the witches, creating the embryo Eve, luring in the walpurgis, I think she's generating an energy source equivalent to the power Akemi accidentally stored back in Madoka Magica, and that she's going to make her wish once the power is at its peak. The same way we saw Madoka do, causing her to become the strongest magical girl. In fact, thinking about it while I write this, maybe she's not fooling Toka at all, but Toka not knowing is a part of their plan. What if one of them wished for a zone that Kyobi couldn't enter, except for this baby Kyobi that doesn't have connection to the greater Kyobi consciousness? What if another one wished to be forgotten, so that Kyobi wouldn't try to stop them? Could be the same wish even. Could all be Genie's wish if Nemu did it, worded exactly right to accomplish what they need to do with intentional loopholes. But yeah, I think that's going to be the thing that this group put together, the plan to become gods, and we're doing an Akemi-less version of that now. Now, as I said, I wrote that like the day after I had watched that episode. I no longer believe some of that to be true. I have a note here at the very end of my notes going back over that, because obviously if I'm watching the episode and I'm taking notes about what I see, the Nemu thing comes at the very end of the episode, so that's where I would have changed my mind. Also, when I was taking my notes, I didn't particularly remember what theory I had. So I think some of this, again, is going to be applicable, but not all of it. If my first note is correct, then I imagine you'd think this wouldn't work out due to the fact that this is a failed timeline and witches still exist after Akemi rewinds to try and save Madoka again, except there is no reason to believe that Akemi's failed timelines cease to exist after she rewinds the time. We could be working with a many worlds interpretation of the multiverse, wherein the moment Akemi rewinds time and changes things, all she's doing is leaving one universe and creating another, meaning that after Madoka and gang leave Kamihama, they'll go fight the Walpurgis, fail, Akemi will go back in time, and this world will continue on without our former main characters, assuming this isn't the timeline where Madoka sacrifices herself and becomes the world's greatest witch. Either way, if Nemu succeeded in that timeline, she could just occupy that same position that Madoka did in the main series. 2 different godheads in 2 different universes. Again, that assumes that my first note is correct, and again, I think I wrote this note also right after that one. I wish we had gotten an inside look at Mami the way that we did with Yui. I know we'd already spent a fair amount of time with Mami and gone over what makes her tick, but it would have been nice to see again. Either way, I was right about Yui putting on a mask for everyone. Real sad moment, which made this a very good episode. One of the failings of the episode, the only one that I can think of, is that when they invoke Mel's death again, it brings to the forefront an issue I've been thinking about the entire time the Magia's plan has been going. There was a time when 4 magical girls couldn't take down a single witch. Witches used to be a massive threat. Now the entire park around the Magias is being stormed by all the witches in the area. They just drove a truck through the middle of them to get in. That's how inconsequential that they've become in this last arc. It doesn't mean much for this episode, but thinking about Mel dying in that fight made that an unavoidable callback in my mind. I'm not going to have a lot to say about Yui's situation from this episode, as I think I said that in my reaction. It might well be in my top 10 most emotional scenes of anime that I've watched on the channel. Hard to tell. In the analyzing that I do between recordings, though, for these notes, I guess this is a situation that really could have only happened in Kamihama, as I feel like this is that kind of deep depression that caused her to create a doppel in the first place, where if she had been anywhere else, she'd have been like Sayaka from the main show and become a witch, despite, the mask. I don't know if it's going to be anything, but looking back at my episode 1 notes, I can't help but remember there was a note on the ground with all of the other wishes that got made that said, "I want to become the one that destroys Kamihama." Like, a number of them could easily be the characters that we've met. Like, Cure the Illness could be Toka, Nemu, or Yui. I want to become someone else could be Yui if my theory about Kuro is true. Money, win the lottery, or get my family back both sound like Felicia. Or Sakura, if you believe that the main group's wishes could be here for some reason, but I don't think so. To connect hearts sounds like Coordinator. I want to survive is Yachio for sure. I don't want us to hate each other ever again, or to make up with her sounds like Kade. The others could apply to other characters I just don't know well enough at the moment, or just not remembering. Because we still have Go Out with Him, Revenge, Courage to Confess, Get My Family Back, which I think I already added to the top bit. I want a studio where no one can disturb me. I want to know why everyone hates Daito. Sorry, Daito is a name that I keep thinking about, but I just don't know who that is. I don't even think they're a character in the show. That's a problem of consideration. I didn't write it here as a note, but some of these characters are just characters in the game who are reacting to the characters in the anime, right? So some of these could just apply to characters I've never met before. Like a couple of those could be our original group, but they shouldn't be wishes we saw for Kamihama, though, so I don't know. So we saved Mami just for them to go back home, be killed by the Walpurgis, and Akemi to rewind again, and for all of these struggles to have never happened. And all these connections to be lost. That's the real tragedy. Apparently, that thing that I said at the very opening of the episode, I also had in my notes, so double down. Alright, and my last note. So, my first note, I wrote that the day after I had seen the last episode. I don't exactly recall what I went through there, but now I'm taking notes during the episode, and I can't help but bring up the fact that Nemu called Iroha Big Sis. Like you imagine Yui would. One last horrible guess before we start Season 3. I'm wrong about Kuro, and Nemu actually died. Yui made the wish, I want to become someone else, and became Nemu in order to keep her friend alive. So Yui ceased to be, which is why Nemu/Yui can regard the missing spot in pictures, because that was her. The way so much of our main cast strife has been motivated by the loss of a friend, like Mel, this was the start of their whole thing. And again, that's not me saying that's what happened. That's me saying that's my last guess before I go and hit play on this video and we find out what actually happened. So, yeah, with nothing left to do, let's head on to the final countdown.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Oh, and we're starting with the picture. Remember, Nemu had the pictures of the Eternal Sakura, which had 4 chairs at it too. I imagine we're starting over from the beginning with their story. Oh, those are horrible looking. Oh, okay, not a witch, just a sculpture. I've never heard that before, if that's a turn of phrase. Oh no. Someone's definitely dying here, that's the problem. I'm trying to think what you call the ward specifically designed for you to slowly die in. Hospice? I'm afraid that this might be children's hospice. Kyobi, you son of a bitch. Nemu did ask Toka about going to the theme park after everything was over. I think I'm right. The final one, not the first one. Oh god, we are heading to fucking heartbreak. Nemu did say that she created all the rumors. Except that she didn't. She quite literally didn't. Oh god. So I just feel like I'm already choking up because I can kind of feel where this is gonna go. It's gonna be fucking horrible. To be fair, it did bring Aroa back the one time. Could it not bring them back too? Or is Aroa technically actually dead? I mean, that's not true. Technically, Aroa could have made the wish, I wish everyone was cured. This has all that feeling of that one Maiden Abyss episode from season 1, and you fucking know what I'm talking about. You know, maybe I would have been better off not watching season 3 and just leaving it to my imagination. Again, you could have wished your whole magical group of friends. Okay, so they're gonna find out about Kyobi, or Kyobi's gonna introduce themselves to them. Yeah, it's the fucking trade-off. It's what Mammy talked about back in like episode 2, wasn't it? Wow. I don't mean to cast aspersions, it's the fact that they shoved Nemu into an elevator super quick. Still, this show is gonna be over and I'm never gonna have learned the witch's language. Kyobi, you fucking predator. I mean, I guess I was hoping she doesn't go back upstairs because she's gonna find your room empty. I mean, at least now we definitely know it wasn't Aroa's wish that made Yui vanish. Nemu's a fucking genius. There we go. This is the appropriate action. I don't like that. What I say? Carefully worded wish, like a genie's wish.
行方不明者が最後に目撃された場所と自殺者が命を絶った場所、複数箇所でクラスターが形成されている。ここに魔女が引き起こした可能性のある事故や災害も加えて、被害者を時系列で並び替えると
Pretty smart.
最初の人は女の子ばっかり。魔女の発生と少女の失踪に関係性はあるのか。仮に彼女たちが魔女に負けた魔法少女だったとしても、原因不明の突然
So they've already solved for where the witches come from.
関係者への事情聴取をしてみなくちゃ。それで僕に聞きたいことってなんだい？キューベイはちゃんと答えてくれるんだよね。もちろんだ。僕は嘘。
To be fair, QB has also said you've never asked.
キューベイの目的は何？僕の目的はこの宇宙の寿命を伸ばすことさ。それはどうやって？
These are the three most smartest girls.
変換した後、宇宙へ送ることだよ。魔女って一体何なの？負の感情が具現したものさ。
You're lying. You're omitting information, Kyobi.
大切なものってこと？キューベイが作ったの？僕は君たちのエネルギーを具現して実体を持たせてあげただけだよ。お姉ちゃんが拾っていたもの。
You're picking through it now.
あの時、お姉ちゃんは何をしていたの？ソウルジェムの浄化だよ。浄化？魔法を使うと汚れが溜まっていくからね。浄化しないとどうなるの？魔力を正常に使いこなせなくなる。これで満足したかい？最後に、もし魔女が全部いなくなったら、お姉ちゃんは魔法少女は普通に生きられる？もし全ての魔女がいなくなるとすれば、それは同時に全ての魔法少女がいなくなる
That's
と
the
ことだよ
plan.
ね。グリーフシードは魔女を倒して得る以外ないんだ。ありえないんですけど。
Oh, Alania. Oh, she was building the thing downstairs. I didn't even recognize her. I've been trying to figure her out, too.
なんだかちゃんと答えてくれなかったね。
The last episode of Season 2 really didn't cover her at all.
役割も大体分かったし、魔法少女の真実についても予測できちゃった。どういうこと？
Crazy that Kyobi just told three normal people who didn't make a wish.
教えて。どうかちゃん、ネムちゃん。魔女は魔法少女の終着点。あれがお姉さんの未来の姿。
Again, one of them's gotta make a wish that creates the doppels.
最大の問題点は魔法少女の魔女化が宿命づけられてることだよね。それなら答えは簡単。それを消し去っちゃえばいいんだよ。
I mean, we know Madoka does eventually.
どうやって？
Something else takes their place. Ah, Kyobi, you fucking predator.
魔法少女はさ、魔女になるって聞いたんですけど。なんだそんなことか。その通りだ。
Unfortunately, there's a million of them.
僕を無駄にしないでほしいよ。さあ、君たちはどんな願いを叶えるつもりだい？私たちの願いは未来のために欲する力。どういう意味だい？私たちはね、
Make the wish vague, huh?
キューベイが持つ機能が欲しい。
Shit that I talked about during Madoka Magica. Wish for anything.
私には怪獣の力を。私には変換の力を。僕には具現の力を。あなたから奪わせて、キューベイ。まさか君たちは。
And that's why it's baby Kyobi. It's a Kyobi stripped of their power. And I guess Alania Gray is going to wander up here. Are we not concerned that we just crushed Nemu in some books? Is that why Nemu's in a wheelchair again? No, I'm assuming that Nemu is with Yui. And the only time I think we're going to see Yui transformed. Do you think everything goes wrong? Do you think everything goes wrong because something happens to one of them? That doppels manifest because one of them goes awry? Well, shit. Oh, is she gonna be the first one trapped in that tower that we saw before, where people were... Oh, Kyobi. That explains so fucking much. Baby Kyobi Izui. And now we might know why Nemu was in a wheelchair. I mean, it doesn't really explain why they vanished from reality. Oh, Embryo Eve is Ui's. Ui's witch form. I still don't know if you're a villain or you're helping. Oh god, it's a Sayaka situation all over again. Quick lie. Oh, she's not lying. Everybody forgot. Yeah, it is the tragedy that I thought it was. And Nemu is the only one that remembers. Actually, I don't even know why you're the only one that remembers. And Aroa would never know to come back, right?
そう救うんだよお姉ちゃんを救って
Yeah, now it's an incomplete plan because you only had 2/3 of what you needed.
そうだね僕たちで全ての魔法少女を救おうよかったいつものネムに戻ったねこのウィッチは何て呼べばいいわけ
Embryo Eve, I guess.
魔法少女の希望の始まりだからイブエンブリオイブ魔法少女の絶望は私たちが終わり
Yeah, you can't kill baby Kyobi.
白い邪魔者さんにきれいさっぱりいなくなってもらわないとだよ私たちの名はこの革命によって刻まれる It's a showtime!
It's weird that Alania Gray has the power to keep Kyobi out since she didn't have that thing. She didn't make the wish for Kyobi's power. So technically they only have the power to create and transform now.
もうどれほども残っていないそれでも僕だけは覚えてる
Ah, God, Nemu is the fucking hero. Nemu is the fucking hero of the show. But why? And this question still remains. Why is Nemu dying? And why is Nemu in a wheelchair? I thought it was going to be implied that the explosion did that, but no, she was standing there. Double-edged sword here. I got real sad at the beginning because I thought, obviously, horrible stuff was about to happen. But, you know, we have 4 episodes, or 3 episodes left now, so clearly they weren't going to do it all in one episode. And, yeah, I mean, I'm glad it didn't happen that way. But at the same time, this is sad, obviously, but it's not as emotionally sad as I was feeling there at the beginning. And it just sets us up to where season 2 ended. So, at the very least, I am at no less a worse position than last episode left us. And now we just fucking know. I guess I was just completely wrong, by the way. All of my notes that I took. What if there's going to be a next time on? Because there's only 4 episodes. Figure you could put them in there. What are you implying here, end credit scene? Also, there's 5 characters now? There was only 4 seats. Did they add Yachio? No, next time on. Okay. Yeah, no, I really like that they had a plan. I guess I don't fault them from the position that they came up with a plan, they spent a long time, they did their research, they put together what they should do, and then when they had everything, they just went too far too quick. We drew in all the power, and it was too much. It was too much, and she couldn't stop. And they didn't come up with a plan of what to do in case that happened. And, you know, you'd think, given the fact that they went into such hard work, such hard detail over everything, that they never considered what would happen afterwards. And I'm not going to fault them for that. You know, best intentions, pathway to hell, etc. But yeah, no, the element that they're missing 1/3 of the power set, and they don't even know it, or Nemu does, but Toka is apparently taking control of everything immediately. And you know, all of this specifically to save all the magical girls, but specifically Aroa, and now Aroa doesn't even know to come here. No one knows to bring Aroa back into the picture. It's a tragedy. This is a tragedy, and I feel bad for it, but now I'm I feel more okay than I was when, like, oh, maybe I should have started watching season 3. I feel better now to see how this pans out because I feel like we've created a pathway now to a good ending. Except for the element that Elania Gray is still around. And I, again, can't tell if she's going to be a villain or a hero. Or maybe either or neither, you know? We got to get people's memories back. I don't know if she shared those memories because it felt like what she was doing was a connect, like we just showed, to be able to do to what we did with Yui, right? Where we saw all of Yui's memories and everything. Maybe she was doing that to those two because she is connected to those two. And I guess technically Yui in the form of Baby Kyobi was in her lap. I guess I'm going to change the board for that. Now that we know Baby Kyobi is actually Yui, I can get rid of Yui or just put Baby Kyobi in those connections. And that also explains why Baby Kyobi was constantly going to Aroa. It's her baby sister. God, this is such a fucking good show. There's the element that I feel like this show is pushed away by a larger audience because it seems like I don't know what you call it, Pretty Cure, Cardcaptor Sakura. I don't know how you describe them, or Sailor Moon. I know there's a word. There's a word for specifically shows like this that are aimed towards a female audience, where you have shonen and is it seinen that is grown up men audience? That these are shows that feel like they're not designed for someone like me, let's say. But they're really good, and it shouldn't be targeted audience thing. And I think the problem is that you see, like, I don't know, 16 to 20-year-old girls. I think these girls are probably younger than that, doing, like, what's going on here. And you think that's not the show for me. But you really got to give it a try. Like, I don't know what would have happened. We ran a poll. If you guys remember back in the day, we ran a poll on, like, it could have been 10 shows. I don't remember. It was a number of shows. And I think it was specifically shows of this genre to see what I should watch. And obviously this one, Madoka Magica. But I remember Pretty Cure was winning for a bit before Madoka Magica overwhelmed it. So, by equal measure, I could have been watching, like, season 3 of Pretty Cure by now. I know Pretty Cure is, like, 26 different shows, so I would have been in a forever mix of Pretty Cure. I don't know. Would I have liked Pretty Cure as much as this? I know the element is that the Madoka Magica had subversion going for it. Episode 3 and what happened there. And I don't know if Pretty Cure is just the opposite, the actual reverse example of why people like me don't watch shows like that. So I just don't know. I just can't imagine not having ever watched Madoka Magica before or Magia Record. I'm almost willing to say that Magia Record is the superior show of the two shows. And I know people might give me blowback on that. It's just Magia Record is so much more involved, and every season adds to that involvement and the build up and the payoff, right? They're really gonna have to fuck it up at the end to ruin that. But then again, my worry therein is that Magia Record ends with this season, whereas Madoka Magica, Walpurgisnacht Rising hasn't even released yet. There's still more shit. And I think the games, Magia Record is based on the game too, so I don't know. Yeah, I know I'm probably just rambling on here, and I haven't even addressed anything from the episode. I think it's from the element that I have to just go back and take notes. There's so much there that touches on stuff that's happened, and so much there that I just have to take notes about what I thought was going on and really put it to thought. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and wrap up here rather than rambling on for another 10 minutes, which I'm sure I could probably do. It's just I'm losing so much memory, ironically, of what happened that I need to be in the moment. And I'm never going to be a pause reactor because I fucking hate that. I don't watch pause reactions if I can help it. But what you gonna do? That's how my note section works. So that said, the emotional roller coaster that was the beginning of season 3, I have been Theta. This has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?